the United Nations, where UN Human Rights Office has expressed concern over comments made by Israel's National Security Minister, who backed the Israeli troops involved in the shooting deaths of 2 Palestinians in Jenin. Such statements, which appear to exonerate the use of lethal force, have been condemned as dangerous incitement to violence. The European Union, the United Nations reminded that there are legal and due process mechanisms to deal with suspects, stressing that brutal force is not the solution. The latest figures now show that Israeli forces and settlers have killed over 1,000 Palestinians in the occupied West Bank since early October, including more than 200 children. This is what UN Human Rights spokesperson said. Listen in.
Yesterday's incident, which was caught on film by a TV channel. An internal review was announced, but statements by a senior Israeli government official sought to absolve Israeli security forces of responsibility, raising serious concerns about the credibility of any further review or investigation conducted by an entity that is not fully independent from the government.
And Shaul Sadka, who is a political commentator, joins us live from Tel Aviv. Thank you for joining us, Shaul, here at NewsX World. Now, do you think the condemnation and the statement that has come in from the United Nations is going to have any impact given the backing that Israel enjoys from the United States?
I don't think the backing of the United States is relevant at all in this situation. Israel's primary rival in the world is neither the United States nor the Palestinians, but rather it is the United Nations itself, which condemns Israel on an almost daily basis. Most of its condemnations in total, the majority of the UN condemnations are against Israel. It is an organization that has been hijacked by various bad actors to be primarily an anti-Israel body. So I don't think anyone in Israel or in the United States takes it seriously in any way. Of course, any alleged crimes committed by Israeli troops in action will be investigated by the competent Israeli authorities. And I'm sure the truth will come out.
Do you think the Security Council resolution of a violation of Palestinian rights of self-determination and UN Charter is going to have any effect? We're seeing how Israel is continuing with its killing. There's no deterring Netanyahu and the IDF.
I absolutely reject the framing. That's not how it's happening at all. On the contrary, Israel is continuing its anti-terror operations throughout the West Bank and beyond. There will be no acceptance by the Israeli public of terror armies armed on their borders, and they will be continually aggressively dismantled until they surrender. There's going to be no compromise on that issue, and I must reject the framing.
All right. Thank you, Shaul, for joining us here for now. Appreciate you giving us your opinions. And viewers, let's now move on to news from France, where President Emmanuel Macron has said that he wants a fast-track legal procedure that would allow courts to block harmful fake news or defamatory online content within 48 hours. Speaking after a Defense Council meeting on information warfare, Macron said that current systems are far too slow when false or AI-amplified content damages a person's dignity or reputation. He proposed an emergency injunction-style process where victims could quickly ask a judge to order content removed and pursue further legal action later. The plan arrives amid global concerns that anti-fake news laws can be misused as tools of censorship. Critics warned that vague definitions of misinformation, government control over what counts as false, and platform liability can lead to selective enforcement against journalists or political opponents. Russia's post-2022 fake news laws have been imposed and used to imprison critics of the ongoing war. Even historically, attempts like the US push to block the Pentagon Papers show how governments may try to limit information under the banner of national security. And moving on now, viewers, Senegal's Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko has condemned this week's coup in neighboring Guinea-Bissau, calling it a sham and demanding the continuation of the interrupted election. His comments added to the growing regional outrage over the takeover, which saw military officers remove the civilian government just before election results could be announced. The coup leader, Major General Horta Inta, defended the action, claiming it was necessary to protect Guinea-Bissau's democracy from narco-traffickers seeking to destabilize the country. Inta also announced the start of a one-year transition period to oversee the country's future direction. The West African bloc, ECOWAS, condemned the coup and called for the restoration of constitutional order. The United Nations, African Union, and European Union also voiced strong opposition.
ci wàllu la xaw Guinée boobu duma ci sori parce que dafa relever ci prérogative bu président de la République def naa démb def nañu communiqué gouvernement CEDEAO def na communiqué waaye la ma ci mën a gàttal rek mooy am na ñun ñëpp sañ-sañ ne nag li xew Guinée ñëpp xam nañ ni combine te teguwul fenn te la ca gën a gàtt nag mooy benn nañu yeggali processus ba commission ba wax kan moo gagné ñaar ña ñu jàpp rawatina Domingos Pereira nga xam ne du woon sax candidat ñu jàpp ko ba xañ ko ay médicaments nañ ko bàyyi te delloo ko ay médicaments loolu moom du ma ci sori la ca des nag mbirum CEDEAO ak ñoom seen sama xalaat li ma ci xalaat xam ngeen ko.
And that's all we have time for. Keep watching NewsX World for more news updates from across the world.